Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom's back and welcome back to another video without a camera. I am going out today to buy a camera. In fact, I wanted to wake up today, go out and buy a new webcam. But when I woke up today, I was getting out of bed and I was just gonna, go and have a pee. One of those kind of sleeps where you wake up, you use the bathroom, you go back to sleep, right? Woke up, checked the time, it was 9:57. Events ended like 10 a.m. for me. So I was like, oh, look at that, it's 9:57. I can do like one race, or maybe even two races, maybe in a higher position in some of the events. Log into Top Drives, and boom, I'm greeted with a screen. And clearly I went around Discord. It looks like a lot of you other guys were greeted with the screen as well. I mean, out of nowhere, someone just dropped the bomb, I guess. Asia Pacific Revival Part 2. And we're gonna expect Nissans. I mean, it's the same menu screen as Part 1, but instead of the Civic Type R, it's a Fairlady Z now. So everyone just has this. And I'm just like, okay. I knew for a fact that this was probably a mistake, because usually when there's a new update, Hutch like to tease it. They like to post new cards on Facebook, or maybe they'll even reach out to the content creators for some material. They didn't do that. But everyone just logged into this screen this morning. I was like, all right, okay, fine. Let's just get straight to work. So I'm gonna make a quick little speculative video of what we can expect now that we know that the next update is probably pretty close, and it's probably gonna be Nissan. Let's speculate what's coming to the table. Now, before we start, quick little disclaimer, okay? Number one, it's a speculative video. Number two, some of the custom cars that you're gonna see here are over 3 years old. The last time I did a custom car kind of concept video with Ben, he got a little bit of slack, and like, I don't like that, all right? Like, he did his best, and obviously, like, he was rushed. Like, I told him I need 25 cards over a weekend, And then another disclaimer that I want to say is that if I made these cards myself, the video would have been released in 2045, okay? So, I'm glad. I'm really thankful for everyone here that made the cards. Bunny, Cynic, Spoolie, British Porsche, Ben, and of course Tootsie. And like, all of these guys made the cards. Some of them are 3 years old, so before you go in and be like, oh my god, the RQ is so bad. This car is not gonna be RQ90. So, bro, some of these were made in 2021, okay? And last but not least, I don't know much about Nissans, okay? I think they're really cool, but I don't know much about them. And that's why we've got a special guest on the channel today. He's not little, he's a big Nissan specialist, okay? This dude bleeds Nissan. The only other guy that loves Nissan as much as Corn. What's good, Spoolie?
Hey, how's it going? Happy to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here, actually, because like I don't know much. Like when we look at the cars that we have, like for example, the first car that we have, the first custom car I have that I believe is not in Top Drives is the Skyline GTR V-Spec 2. Okay, so if it was just me in the video, I'd be like, dude, this car is sick. Yeah, R34s, man. Yeah, they were illegal for like, what? Like, how many years? They used to go for like $500,000. Now they're not illegal anymore. Yeah, they're cool. But anyway, Spoolie's gonna know a lot more. What do you want to say about this car?
Well, the V-Spec 1 and V-Spec 2, this is obviously a V-Spec 2 of the R34, are basically the same as the regular R34, except they had handling upgrades. So that's why the 0 to 60 on this car isn't better, and the MRA is probably not going to be better than, the base R34, but it will handle better because it has upgraded brakes and suspension and what like that. So,
oh, word.
Yeah.
And the current R34 in Top Drives has like base score of 85, right? So this is just one more.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. I think the base is 85. I love the R34. I mean, I think it's cool. That's my extent of Nissan here. But I don't even have it. I have the car in Top Drive. I just don't have it fully upgraded. But yeah, okay, that's cool. All right, moving on to the next card. Once again, these are all custom cards, but they're all really well done in my opinion. We've got another one, the Nissan Skyline GTR Pace Car R33. Do you know anything about this one? I think this is pretty cool.
I actually hadn't really heard about the pace car, but I do know that, for quite a few races in Japan, they use the GTRs as pace cars. I mean, I think in Group A and Group C like that, so I have a feeling that's a Group C pace car, but that's pretty dang cool.
Word. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I think there are a couple of pace cars in Top Drives right now, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they added something like this. Here's another one. Oh, okay. This is where we begin. Spoolie, it's your wheelhouse. He's an R32 guy. He's a 32 guy through and through. So we've got a lot of 32s to showcase today.
Yeah, this is the base of the base of the base model of the R32. The GX side didn't even have an inline 6, so it's inline 4. That's naturally aspirated. It makes about 91 horsepower, so pretty slow. But this is like the kind of car you'd see as a taxi or like, just an average commuter car in Japan. Because, I mean, to put it in other terms, this is like the V6 Charger or Challenger of the R32. So, yeah.
I knew that there was like an R32 and there were some, I knew there were some trims, but I didn't know that there were going to be as many as we see today. So we move on to the next one here. So this should be the one up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was one in between, but this is kind of the next step up where it's, instead of an inline four, it's the RB20 that we all know and love, but it is naturally aspirated, so it only makes around 155 horsepower. The GTS, which came in like a slew of different variants, like there's the J-type and the S-type, and but it also had four-wheel steering, which is the same kind of system the GTR had in the end, so that made it handle quite a bit better.
It was building up for things to come, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, next one.
The GTS25 had an RB25 instead of an RB20, so a lot more torque, a lot more power. I mean, it was half a liter bigger than the RB20. It was still unfortunately naturally aspirated, but I'm pretty sure this motor went on to be used in like turbocharged variants in the R33 and R34, but it's pretty cool.
Were all of these cars manual transmission, by the way?
You could have an auto, but a lot of people I think opted for manuals. Thank God.
Because like all R32s are manual, aren't they?
Yeah, I think every single one was offered with a manual at some point. The GTR, I think, is all manual.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. But these ones you could have chosen, I guess.
Yeah, you could have an auto, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, like some of them were taxis.
Yeah.
And here's another one. I guess we're going up this one looks a lot more beastly as well.
Well, I mean, before the GTR was released, this was like the top dog of the R32. So, it's the GTST, which has the turbocharged RB20. It makes like 220 horsepower, something like that. Four-wheel steering as well. This was like the car that if you weren't like a rich business guy in Japan, you bought this and not the GTR.
Oh,
so still quite the fast and good handling car though. Just not four-wheel drive and didn't have that lovely RB26.
Here's another one. This one's interesting. Off-road?
Yeah, I mean this is a GTS rally car. This was done by a rally team. I forget exactly where they were located, but of course, highly modified to be a rally car and very cool, in my opinion. The only other rally cars they really did officially by Nissan were the actual GTRs, like where they did Pikes Peak and whatnot. I mean, there was actually a 400R rally car they went up Pikes Peak with, so I'm sure Corn would love that.
Wait, that's actually sick. I didn't know about that. We don't have a custom card for a 400 rally.
No.
But that's freaking sick. Okay, hope they add that.
I hope they add everything, honestly.
Yeah, that's really freaking sick. Like, I've never heard of that in my life. The funny thing is that, how like earlier on I said there was a disclaimer, I don't know much about Nissans. Bro, I really don't. Because a year ago, I went to some kind of diecast expo here, and they had a 400R, and I didn't even know what a 400R was. I remember taking a photo, I was like, Corn, look, it's an R33. And I think it was you. It was either you or Corn that pointed out, no, that's a 400R, isn't it? I'm just like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, those things are ridiculous.
Oh man, this one's cool. I like this. What was there to say?
So Autech is like a tuning company that's like a branch off of Nissan, sort of like, I don't know, like AMG or would be for Mercedes back in the day. But the Autech version, the GTS 426, it's weird. So it's a GTS4, which is a four-wheel drive version of the GTST, but it has a naturally aspirated RB26. So, the GTR, big top dog motor, but without any turbochargers, which kind of kills the fun a little bit, but still a pretty dang cool car, if you ask me.
The next one over here, we've got the Nissan Skyline. So we're moving away from the cars, because most of the R32s that we saw earlier on were cars that Spoolie made himself. We're moving away from that. I believe that this is Bunny's card. MSpec. Okay, so I didn't even know that there were so many versions of R34. There was an MSpec, there was a new NU spec, right? And there's like a Z-tune. So what's the MSpec?
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, there were a whole bunch of different R34 trims. but I think the MSpec is like a more luxurious version of the car. It turns into more of like a touring car, like the Toyota Supra was. So it's like softer suspension, like like the businessman car. If like you're really rich and you want to drive around in your GTR in comfort, this is the one you get.
Word.
And so like all the fancy paint colors and nice trim. I think that was what the MSpec was about. I may be mistaken, but I think it's the MSpec that is the nice, comfy one.
Okay, well that makes sense. I wonder what the M stands for though, because most of the time I think of manual, but they're all manual, right? So M might be whatever comfy means in Japanese, I guess. I don't know what.
I have no idea.
I have no idea too, but that's pretty cool to see a lot of these R34 variations come into the game. I think got another one coming up. Yeah, it's the Spec 2 Nur, not new, and you are. Yeah, so what's this, Nürburgring?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was also like I'm pretty sure this was one of the top dog R34s. It's like the and this will be mentioned later, but the N1 R32, where it's just like one of the highest trims you can get. Obviously, better handling, better 0 to 60, more power. Even though Nissan, of course, is just gonna say it makes 276 horsepower because of the gentleman's agreement they had, but probably like 350 if I'm being honest. So yeah,
I'm really excited for this. I mean, if we get to see a four-wheel drive 88 handling base R34, just any Skyline for that matter, I would be really excited. I mean, like I said a million times in the video, I don't know much about these Japanese brands, but I've always thought that Nissans and the Skylines in particular were always just a little bit cooler than almost anything else. I think the Mazda RX-7 still trumps that, but that's just my personal opinion. But like, in terms of four-wheel drive, handling cars in the game, I think of like the WRXs, I think of the Audis, and like, they're just kind of boring to me, especially the WRXs. Like, I wouldn't want to max it out, but if I were to unpack, let's say that this is real, let's say that this is a real car with 88 handling, if I were to unpack that, even though it's four-wheel drive, I would be so biased to the point where I wouldn't even think about, the fact that it's four-wheel drive or it's overrated in RQ or anything like that. I would just max it. I would actually just max it because it's cool. I just think it's really cool, and I think 88 handling is really good as well. Again, I don't know if this is going to be the real stat. It is speculative. This card was probably made, I think, like 3 years ago. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see more R34 trims in the game.
Oh, me too. I would max that instantly. I mean, I maxed the regular R34 instantly, and now there's all these fancy versions. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to contain my excitement. But
I think in your case, it's more of a question of what you wouldn't max instantly, huh?
No, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, moving on now. Here's another one. So this is the is it the same?
I think this is like a more aggressive version of the luxury version of the R34. Like I said, there were so many different trims. Like, Nissan really milked all of the Skyline platforms. Like, they made so many different trims. But yeah, I think this is definitely a comfy, the MSpec, which is like the more luxury version, but at the same time, you need a little more performance. I don't know. They had a model for everyone, so.
Yeah, it's mad that the MSpec, and they have the MSpec 2. This is the MSpec Nur. The other one that we just looked at was the MSpec 2 Nur. What I can say though is that they're all kind of, I mean, Bunny made these cards, and I trust Bunny. Bunny's one of the best in my opinion, and I mean the stats make sense because this one is a little better handling. This one is a little less handling at 87. Could they even be legendary? You think they could even be legendaries? I'm thinking like Porsche Taycan, and I just feel like if the Porsche Taycan remains an epic, then this would probably be an epic too, though.
Yeah, I mean, even the Z-Tune right now, which is the top dog, which I wish they would make a little better because 500 horsepower is quite a lot. That is an RQ80 and borderline going down to epic because the Taycan does beat it.
And the Z-Tune is 87 handling in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was the top of the top dog. So I don't know what Hutch will end up doing. Maybe they'll give that a handling boost. That would be sick.
Yeah, I can see that. They buffed the Z-Tune and then they add in some of these other ones too.
Yeah, I would be very happy for that to happen.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. Because that card's been wishlisted for me since it came into the game in JPT. But I've just never had the privilege of getting it. You got it, right?
Yeah, that was, I think, the biggest reaction I've bigger than like when I pulled the PM580T is when I pulled that R34, and it was not smart for me to max it because I had so many better options to do. But
matter,
you know,
man. It's
sometimes
a
you gotta
passion project. It's what you
exactly.
like. Yeah, it's a passion project. It's all good. All right, moving on. Here's another one. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to some more like R35 kind of stuff because we were looking at 34s and 32s for the longest time. So we've got the Nissan GTR Concept.
Well, I mean, this one I think was introduced at like the Paris Motor Show or something like that, or maybe the Tokyo Auto Salon before the R35 came out. I remember so many people said this was really ugly when it did come out.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few concepts that like the R35 did actually look better, but this was like definitely a car that excited a lot of people because it had been such a long time since the R34 had stopped production, and so many people were looking forward to the R35.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that they actually just like stuck with the design cues for the most part.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can definitely
I'd say like
see it.
The equivalent to this in the game right now would be like the Corvette concept that's like was used in Transformers.
Oh,
for, like,
Stingray concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like an RQ72, I think, or it might be even lower than that. But then again, this is just old RQ. I think this would be like a 73 probably nowadays.
Yeah, those would be around the same RQ nowadays, I think, with the four-wheel drives all going down.
That's cool. All right, well, we're going to the 35 coming up. Here we go. It's called the Club Sport package.
Well, I'm not as well versed on the R35s, but I'm pretty sure this is, you know, one of the many Nismo treatments the car got. So, you know, lower to 0 to 60, better handling.
Fair enough.
I
Just
think
small tune changes here and there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be very similar to like the Egoist that's in the game right now.
Yep.
You know, just more power and whatnot, and just making people excited. I mean, this was one of the earlier, you know, trim packages that came with the car before like the actual Nismo came out. So
seems like it. 2008. Yeah, so before that. And here's another one. Oh yeah, so I think a lot of people know about this car. I had the privilege to see this thing in real life at the New York Auto Show in 2019. The GTR50 Ital design.
It's like the most controversial R35. It's basically an R35, but it is it's quite the car, I must say. I personally like how it looks. A lot of people didn't, because it is, you know, made by an Italian design studio, but it had quite a lot more power than the regular R35. I mean, which you can see, 2.5 seconds 0 to 60, 93 handling. That's pretty good.
That's
if I don't say so myself. Yeah. They were trying to sell this car for like a lot of money, and I think they were planning on having 50 of them made, and they made 18. So bit of a failure, but
do you remember how much they were trying to sell it for? Because I think I watched a documentary about this, and I think the number was like 4.2 mil.
I don't know if it was that high, but definitely around like over $1 million, I think. And people were just like, "That's a Nissan. I'm not paying that much for it."
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's a very good looking car though. Like I actually saw it twice. So I saw it once in New York, and I saw it again because they were displaying it at their Nissan flagship store in Ginza, in Japan. They had it like literally on the first floor. Anyone could just walk in and look at it. And same spec both times. The one that you see in the photo, like the gold and the gray, or the gold and the black.
Oh yeah, I saw the exact same one at the 2019 auto show, and I mean, although I was a bit distracted by it. Yeah, I was there.
Bro, I was there. What? That's crazy, man.
But no, I was a bit distracted by the Calic R32 they had for their 50th anniversary. But
right,
you know,
they had that.
I really liked the 50, but it's like the Lexus LFA. Like, people see, oh, it's a Lexus, it's a Nissan. I'm not paying $1 million for that. So that's why it was.
Well, maybe so in like 5 years' time, everyone's gonna be praising the engine that this thing had, or something.
I mean, it definitely looks better than the vacuum cleaner they just released as like that new Hyperforce concept. So.
Oh, I saw that like last month. yeah, no, it's definitely better than that. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good looking car. I actually have a Tomica Premium of this in red. Everyone calls it like the Iron Man spec or whatever, but I think it's really nice. Here's another one. I've never heard of this in my life. GTRC.
This is absolutely crazy because, you know, GTR RC. You know what RC stands for? Remote control.
Yeah.
So this was a remote. This was a remote control R35. That I think was controlled using a PlayStation 4 controller, and so I think I'm pretty sure it holds a record of some sort for like the fastest real car driven by remote control. I know there are actual remote control cars that go 200 miles an hour, but I would be terrified watching this, knowing that it's controlled by a PlayStation controller.
This has to be a prize car, man. If it's added to the game, this has to be a prize car without a doubt.
100%, just for the novelty, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's sick. There's no car like this in top drives right now, so this would be really, really cool. Definitely quirky and in a good way, not like the stupid oddity crap going on right now.
Or the Bentley, the prize Bentley.
Yeah,
Peter,
nah, miss me with that. All right, moving on, we have another car which I believe I saw in Japan as well. Oh no, forgot I added this one. Skyline. 1500 band.
Well, I mean, this was like more towards the Datsun and Prince era, where, I mean, if you didn't know, so Prince was a different automotive company. They originally had the Nissan's or the Skyline nameplate, and then Nissan bought them, and that's how it kind of transferred over. But this would be a Nissan instead of a Datsun, and that's I think why they gave it the Skyline nameplate. But it's very similar to like the Datsun van you have in the '60s, but very cool.
That's cool. All right, now moving on. No, okay. I keep thinking the next car is the 50th anniversary, but it's not.
So this could have been like the NSX before the NSX, but they didn't make it. The Nissan Mid4, mid-engine, it had the V6 that like I think the 300ZX came to have a little bit later. It also was like the first car to have four-wheel steering and like the fancy four-wheel drive system that the R32 came to have, which made it so good anyway. And it's mid-engine too, so Nissan unfortunately canceled it, but
yeah, unfortunate is an understatement. This is a beautiful car. I really like how it looks. It looks like if a Testarossa and like a DeLorean had a baby.
Oh, I agree. I think it's totally sick. I really wish they had actually made that, because it would have honestly been better than the NSX at first. I mean, not in a straight line, but touring at least. Yeah. But they decided to ditch it, like so many cool concepts end up happening.
That's just such a shame, because it's really cool. But anyway, no, I think it's actually the 50th anniversary. No, it's not. Okay.
So the R90 CK, I always end up calling this the Rock by accident. But this was a Group C car for Nissan. I think it went to Le Mans at certain points. There is a crazy video of this car that it's viral on the internet of it had a wastegate failure at like a qualifying lap in Le Mans, where the wastegate got frozen shut, and I think this car usually makes probably like 800 horsepower on the high end, maybe 600, and it was just making 1100 horsepower. So imagine having a malfunction that gives you more horsepower. The video is of the driver struggling to keep it on the road, and I think after a lap he melted the pistons.
Oh wow!
But a crazy car, and I don't think it was crazy successful, just because it's something that many people know about, like the Mazda 787B or something like that. But it's still a really cool race car and part of Nissan's history, so I would be super stoked if they had that.
What I find really interesting is that you can see a bit of the design language in the grille from the R390.
No, yeah, I mean, the R390 was probably like a baby to this thing, just because this is full race car, and that was half street, half race, but right. I definitely see it too.
Yeah, that's really cool. On now, there we go, man.
There we go, finally.
I mean, I saw this in Osaka when I was there, and I think it just stands out because it's kind of like the GT3 RS, the 996, where you can only get it in one colorway, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this was also at the 2019 auto show, so I'm sure you saw it there as well.
I don't even remember. Oh, was it up there with the Celsonic?
No, the one in the middle was the LM that's currently in the at the far side, there's like an older race car, but no, this was like right down in front.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. I didn't look at my photo album again.
But yeah, the 50th anniversary, I mean, I know it's blue and it has like a white stripe that goes down the middle of it.
Right.
Super cool. I mean, I think you could only get it in that livery. Definitely boosted performance, like almost Nismo level stuff in like a kind of base looking GTR, you know, without all the crazy aero and whatnot. So this is definitely something special. I wouldn't be surprised if the next car is 8 if they do add it, but still, I want them to add it terribly.
Sorry, you cut out for a second. You said you wouldn't be surprised if the car was what?
Oh, a prize car because of the whole 50th anniversary thing.
Oh, word. Yeah, dude. So I just found my photos from the New York Auto Show. Yeah, so they had it on the ground. The Calic Sonic was on top, and they even had the the R33, right? The LM.
Yeah, that's one of one.
That was one of what? Oh my goodness.
That's the only road car they ever made. I can't imagine how much that would sell for.
Dude, they came out swinging at the auto show. I didn't even know half the stuff I was looking at, man.
I didn't know it was going to be the 50th anniversary, so I came in. I don't know how old I was, but I was a little kid, and I was jaw on the floor. I could not believe my eyes.
Jeez, yeah, I'm looking at the old photos. If I remember, I'll put it in the edits. But
they even had the Leaf race car there too.
Sorry.
I even had like the Leaf Nismo RC that's in the game too.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, wow, they came up a lot. All right, here's another one. GTR Nismo Special Edition.
This is definitely one of the cars that you send your car off to the Amori factory. That's in Japan, and it's a very special place for all Nissan gearheads if you can go.
Yeah, because everything there is just hand built, right?
No, exactly. I mean, you can see the Z-Tune in the background. That's like the top dog R34 right behind it. But they will, for $500,000, if you have that much money, completely rebuild an R32 or R33 or 34 if you want. Lots of money. I would definitely hurt my wallet if I went there. But yeah, the R35 Nismo Special Edition, probably just, the Amori package, like boosted power. Pretty good stats if you ask me for an RQ89, 2.5 seconds 0 to 60. I don't know what. I mean, I don't think they would limit it to 112 miles an hour.
I'm pretty sure that was a typo. I'm pretty sure maybe that was supposed to be like 212.
Yeah, I mean, well, that would be assuming that they limited that car like they limit like other Japanese regular road cars to like 112. So yeah, I don't know.
I think that would be crazy on a car like this. That would put a whole different meaning in special edition, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. But I think we got just a couple more cars to look at here. The next one being your absolute favorite, I believe. Oh no. Okay, the next one after this. This
would definitely be a little higher RQ than 100 now that the RQ goes above 100. But this is from the Aussies. And their craziness over there across the pond. The Croon Racing R32 runs a 6.3 in the quarter mile, and it's street legal.
Oh my god, street legal?
No, you can see this at a traffic light in Australia if you wanted to go over there. But
oh my god,
it has almost 3,000 horsepower, I think. Out of just I think it's 3-liter inline six. I don't know how they do it.
This is just crazy. I really hope, because I know that this is going to be more than just licensing with Nissan. This is probably going to be licensing with Croydon as well.
I mean, I don't feel like Croydon Racing would ever turn down the opportunity to have their car in a video game, but I must say this would be a little OP of a car to add to the game, because it would just destroy everything else.
No, it's good. We need it. We absolutely want it, because like what is the weakest niche when it comes to Japanese cars?
Drags.
Exactly. To have something like this, I mean, yeah, and like, we need some competition for the Cobra Jet that they're never going to release.
The electric Cobra Jet too. Like, we have to have the top dog petrol. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So, come on, man. Like, they got to add this into the game. I think that'd be freaking sick. But now, I think we have your favorite one coming up. I forgot I added this one, yes.
So this is, of course they have the Calic R32 Group A in the game, but this is, one of the cars later, 1992, that kind of got the Group A GTR banned. If you notice, I did the chassis codes for each one of these cars. This is, instead of B and R32, which the N stands for, the four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering. This doesn't have that because racing teams started to remove the four-wheel steering because they noticed it made their cars faster when they were at that level. And they were increasing horsepower. I think at one point, like, one of these cars had 800 horsepower for a race, and just sort of making their own parts and breaking the rules. That's part of the reason, they didn't lose a single race in the R32 Group A. Every single car, that entered a race won, I think, or at least one of them did. But yeah, an absolutely crazy car, if you ask me.
That's cool.
The Winfield is famous.
Well, I'm glad I added it because this is one of the few cars that you really wanted me to add, right?
I mean, it's just, that guy in the photo is probably responsible for, the cheekiness that made this car so quick. But
no, we love that. So this is definitely prize car material, without a doubt.
Absolutely, yeah.
Word. Okay, here we go. Last one then. Well, we got two more after this, but those could be pretty quick.
The cream of the crop, yeah. This is the R32 V-Spec 2 and 1. And, this is the highest trim R32 you could possibly get. I don't think it might have not had AC. You definitely did not get a radio. It only came in white because the white paint was lighter than all the other colors.
Oh, wow.
And,
that's cool.
And yeah, of course, Nissan advertised it as having 276 horsepower, but in reality, like, people have dynoed the N1 at like around 400.
Jeez.
And that's just no modifications what Nissan did. So they were definitely, pushing the boundaries, and people, of course, the performance of these cars was a lot better than people said. So the craziest R32, crazy expensive too, like $200,000 crazy. But they made less than 100 of them, so worth it.
Have you ever seen one of these in real life?
No, I have not. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw what could have been one, but like, I have pictures of everything but the back where the badges would be, and it kills me. But
And every single one of them are in right-hand drive, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a single left-hand drive R32.
And if my memory is correct, the rims on this car is the same ones that they slapped on the 400R.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think what the owner in that picture did, and what makes it so special to me, is they opted for an OEM plus swap. In reality, I think it came with BBS wheels that were a little smaller than that. But honestly, if you probably gave Nissan enough money, they would put those wheels on the car. But that is the ultimate combo for me, at least. And just to enlighten everyone, those wheels are $20,000 a set, so not cheap.
Yeah, and speaking about the 400R, I got two special mentions for us to go through because I couldn't find any special made custom cars in the 400R, which I found absolutely crazy. But yeah, we got the 400R over here, which I did see in real life last year. And as I said earlier on in the video, I had no idea that I was looking at a 400R. I thought I was just looking at a regular R33. How rare is this, Spoolie?
They did not make a lot of them. The prices these things go for is so ridiculous. Like, I would love to buy one, but when you're talking about over $1 million for a Nissan and what is ultimately Nissan 1990s build quality, it's not really worth it at the end of the day. But oh my goodness, I think both me and Corn alike would give up a leg to own one of these at the end of the day.
But even in top drives.
I mean, not in top drives, but definitely a car I'd go all out for a challenge or something like that. And yeah, it's going to be a prize car if they had that one. I hate to say.
It would be an insult if this wasn't a prize car.
Yeah, I mean, you can never say though, because like they added the Serve 3 as a non-prize, and it's like quite the special Corvette.
That is true, actually. There are a few special cars in the game where I feel like they deserve the tag and they don't have it. And then there are cars with the prize car tag where they just don't deserve it, in my opinion. That is true. I mean, okay, I always think about Lamborghini Urus having the prize car tag being a bit strange because, you know, it's a car that you can see just about everywhere if you just drive on like Fifth Avenue or whatever. But also at the same time, I guess I can kind of see it. It was like the first super SUV, you know. I don't know, man. It's a gray area. But anyway, last one. Obviously the KDR30, one of my favorite Nissans ever made. What do you know about this car, man?
Oh my gosh, I would die to get this thing. Like the R30, it's like this. It's very similar. I think it would probably be in a similar RQ range as the Super Silhouette. You know, Sylvia that's in the game right now.
Yeah. But
this one's infinitely more iconic.
So the funny thing about this, this is like one of the only facts I know about this car is that Tomica owns part of it. So if Hutch were to get the licensing for this car, they would need to get licensing from Tomica as well, wouldn't they?
I guess. I mean, maybe they could just have a picture of the car with the part that Tomica owns not on it, and then you know, you're scot-free. I don't know if they own the hood or something.
That's smart. Yeah, they could do it that way, yeah.
But
yeah, that's why Tomica makes so many models of this car in specific.
And they're so good, too. Like, removable hood and roof and, you know, trunk and everything. But yeah, no, this would definitely be super special to have in the game.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I really hope so.
But I mean, this, as with all the other 27 cars that we showcase today, I think every single one of them would be incredibly special to have in the game. So, I mean, personally, I'm very hyped. Now that the cat's out of the bag and we know that Nissan's coming to the game, the only question is how many of these cars are we actually going to be seeing? But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Once again, a special shout out. This video would have never been possible if it wasn't for the expert that is Spoolie. So thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm so happy I could do this and, you know, talk my ear off about, you know, the cars I love. I hope they add all of these plus, you know, hundreds more. You know, I don't care. Add 1,000 Nissans, I would be happy about that. But
like I said, man, if they have the audacity to add like 100,000 Audis, they better do the same for all the other brands. Because they did Honda dirty. They did Honda dirty in part 1. I'm gonna be real with you.
They didn't even add my car. I'm insulted.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous how little Hondas were added to the table. Like, the fact that we have more, I think, Suzukis than Hondas in the game is just crazy.
They added more Mitsuokas than Hondas in the game. That
is sad. That is sad, and I hope they don't miss the ball when it comes to Nissan.
Hopefully part 2 can add some more Hondas as well. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much, Spoolie, for coming on to the channel, sharing his expertise with everybody. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know down in the comments below what you're most excited to see. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace. Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville
Atlantic.
Blonde hair, don't care, look like Leslie Brooks. Pin up girls everywhere.